See what you're hitting. See what you're hitting. Chin up. Chin up.
It may be the middle of summer, but for some NFL head coaches, the clock is already ticking. Because in a league where patience is microscopic and expectations are massive, all it takes is a few bad breaks to turn any semblance of preseason optimism into a thing of the past in stunningly short order. Whether it's the result of a couple bad seasons with underwhelming records, rogue front office pressure, or just locker rooms that seem like they're poised to tune out completely, these coaches are entering 2025 with one eye on the schedule and one eye on the job market.
On the hub, we're jogging. Here we go, we're jogging. Let's go. Crank up the juice.
So, let's take a look at 10 NFL coaches that are already on the hot seat heading into the year. Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Taylor's not a bad coach, and heck, it seems like the team actually likes him. But we're entering another year of Joe Burrow, and if you've got a top 5 quarterback with 0 playoff wins over the past 2 seasons, not to mention a year where you missed entirely, the heat under your chair starts to rise.
Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase named the Pro Bowl. Burrow looking down the sideline. Higgins, 50-50 ball.
Taylor got an early pass because the team rallied back from a 1-4 start, but things never fully clicked, even with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins doing their usual. And now, with both stars locked in long-term and the championship window narrowing by the week, excuses are no longer on the menu. If this team whiffs on the playoffs for a 3rd straight year, Zach Taylor might finally get the accountability memo. Because in today's NFL, having a franchise quarterback and still missing January football, yeah, that's the kind of underachievement that owners will notice without fail. Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns. Crazy to say it about a former 2-time Coach of the Year and a widely respected one at that, but Kevin Stefanski's seat has got to be heating up. After a 3-14 season that earned them the 2nd overall pick, Stefanski went from steady hand to potential lame duck. It's a stunning drop for a coach of his caliber. Now, to be fair, Cleveland's roster was a mess, and that quarterback situation was the stuff of nightmares.
Waste another timeout here, can they? Looks like they're gonna. Oh my God, Kevin Stefanski has to be sick.
But the NFL is not built on sympathy, and Stefanski enters 2025 with Joe Flacco as his most likely starter. And, of course, a roster that is somewhere between rebuilding and tanking. If the Browns don't flash early competence or at least sneak into a wild-card contention, Stefanski could easily become the sacrificial lamb in a franchise that's always one bad month away from pressing the red button. Mike McDaniel, Miami Dolphins. When Mike McDaniel took over in Miami, it felt like the Dolphins had finally found their guy. A sharp offensive mind, a cool demeanor, and a team ready to break out of playoff irrelevance. But every time the playoffs roll around, they seem to stumble in some humiliating fashion trying to adjust to the cold weather. Now, to be fair, the offense has been humming. McDaniel's system consistently ranks near the top, and when things are clicking, it looks like a gosh dang track meet. But the narrative around Miami collapsing late in the year has really stuck, and it's for good reason.
In between the two Dolphins. McDonald gets pressure. Ball is out. It's live.
The team is well under 500 from Week 13 onward during McDaniel's tenure.
Time to go.
Yeah, just gotta wrap it up and get out of here.
Final play of the game is Durham Smythe.
And with big names aging out or potentially on the move, Miami's window may be closing faster than expected. McDaniel doesn't need a Super Bowl run to keep his job, but he does need at least a playoff win. If Miami comes up short again and limps into January, or worse, misses it altogether, do not be surprised if the Dolphins hit the reset button. Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills. It feels weird putting Sean McDermott on a hot seat list, considering all that he's done in Buffalo. After all, he, along with his protege, Josh Allen, put Buffalo on the NFL relevance map. But in this league, success without a ring has an expiration date, and McDermott's might be approaching, especially if he has another unceremonious playoff exit. He's taken the Bills and turned them into a legitimate contender, but they've lost to the Chiefs in 4 of the last 5 postseasons, and haven't reached a Super Bowl during the Josh Allen era.
It's Cook. Veers to the right.
At some point, close stops being enough. Buffalo's roster is still talented, but it is no longer the powerhouse that it once was. They've lost key pieces on defense, and the offense has not quite found that extra gear when it matters most. McDermott is not on the edge of being fired today, but if 2025 ends with another early exit or step back, it's not hard to imagine the Bills deciding that a new voice might be the only way to get them over the hump. Brian Schottenheimer, Dallas Cowboys. It's not often a first-year head coach lands on the hot seat list before taking his first snap, but such is life in Big D, where the expectations are Texas-sized and the patience is microscopic. After Jerry Jones made the surprising decision to part ways with Mike McCarthy, the rumor mill kicked into high gear. Names big and bold were floated, maybe a splashy outsider, maybe a prodigal return. Instead, the Cowboys simply slid their OC into the top chair and called it a day. Schotty's got weapons: Dak, CD, and now George Pickens via trade. And they even beefed up the line with rookie Tyler Booker. So, on paper, it's all fine, heck, maybe even good. But in Dallas, well, good is not good enough. Especially not with a brutal schedule, an impatient owner, and a fan base that has been scorned by far too many playoff flameouts to count. If the Cowboys stumble early, don't be surprised if Jerry starts window shopping again, because if there's one thing Jerry Jones doesn't have anymore, it's time. And given the underwhelming nature of the hire, the fans surely won't be racing to his defense. Watch for the Cowboys to limp into the bye week. Meanwhile, Jones will start daydreaming of a big-named hire once again. And once they finish the season with another uninspiring mark, well, he'll pull the plug for sure. Brian Daboll, New York Giants. 2 years ago, Brian Daboll looked like the miracle worker that the Giants have been praying for since the Coughlin years. Now? Well, he is clinging to relevance in what might be the NFL's least forgiving media market. Yeah, the front office did him no favors, tying his fate to Daniel Jones, whose post-contract play fell off a cliff. Then came the scramble, in the form of a hybrid veteran flyer by acquiring Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston to bridge the team to their draft day gamble on Jackson Dart. It is a quarterback carousel with no clear direction, and Daboll's riding shotgun, especially following the disastrous 3-14 campaign in 2024, which was accompanied with Saquon's departure. Look, fair or not, Daboll enters 2025 with the hottest seat in the NFC East. Ownership showed rare restraint sticking by him, but if this team doesn't flash something resembling progress, say 7 wins and a glimpse of hope from Dart, well, New York could easily blow the whole thing up and start from scratch again. Brian Callahan, Tennessee Titans. When Brian Callahan took the Titans job, it was clear. This was not about wins in 2024, it was about trajectory. Some sort of direction, laying the first few bricks of a rebuild that had no illusions about where it stood in the NFL hierarchy. And, to his credit, Callahan didn't blink. He knew what he signed up for. Now entering year 2, that tone shifts slightly. From blank canvas to, you gotta at least show me the sketch, especially with how pathetic the team looked last year. Plus, he has his guy in Cam Ward, a dynamic quarterback with arm talent, mobility, and the kind of raw athletic profile that gets GMs giddy in draft rooms. But by being a hot name in April, that does not guarantee that you're a franchise cornerstone by November. And outside of Ward, well, the roster seems to be held together by duct tape and developmental pieces. Kevin Zeitler is solid, Dan Moore Jr. might be an upgrade, but there are glaring holes absolutely everywhere, from wide receiver depth to defensive consistency. The bar isn't high, but it is real. The Titans don't need to be good, they just need to look like a team that could eventually be good. Something respectable that'll get Titans fans back in the stadium. So that means visible development, creative scheming, a spark on offense. If instead it's just another year flatlining where Cam Ward looks lost and the Titans lose convincingly, well, Callahan might find himself out of chances before the rebuild ever hits third gear. Or heck, before he even hits his third year. Shane Steichen, Indianapolis Colts. Few coaches walk into a situation as tailor-made as Shane Steichen's. After helping engineer Jalen Hurts' rise in Philly, he was gifted a rare combo in Indy. A front office willing to rebuild around a freakishly talented quarterback, and a clean slate to install his vision. Anthony Richardson had all the tools. Steichen had the resume. The marriage just made sense. But entering year 3, there's a growing sense that the honeymoon is now over. And, well, all the bills are starting to show up. Real life is now starting, and oh boy, it is hitting hard. Richardson's development has been turbulent, to put it lightly. A couple of flashes of excellence, sure, a 50-yard bomb here, a red zone scramble there, but also injuries, missed reads, and long stretches of offensive stagnation. If Steichen can't stabilize Richardson, or if the offense looks disjointed again, it might not matter that there's potential on this roster. Colts ownership has been through a lot of almosts in recent years. Another season in purgatory might be the final straw. Jonathan Gannon, Arizona Cardinals. It's hard to blame Jonathan Gannon for everything that's gone wrong in Arizona. I mean, no coach in the NFL has ridden the line between rebuild patience and competitive pressure quite like Jonathan Gannon. He took over a franchise in disarray, saddled with Kyler Murray's ACL recovery, a depleted roster, and zero real expectations. In 2023, that bought him some grace. In 2024, it bought him time. Then again, you don't get 3 losing seasons in a row without raising a few eyebrows. Gannon's 12-22 record is exactly as uninspiring as it sounds, and his supposed area of expertise, defense, has been the team's softest spot. They've been carved up, run on, struggled in the red zone, and ranked near the bottom in takeaways and third down stops. Sure, it's tough to get the defense firing when the offense is that lost, but still, you gotta prove something eventually. This offseason, Arizona tried to turn the page. They drafted aggressively, signed veterans like Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell. Kyler Murray is back in the fold, and the weapons around him, Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner, Trey McBride, suggest that this team is not just rebuilding anymore, they're trying to win. This team has talent now, so no more excuses. If they don't, and Gannon's crew sleepwalks through another season while the defense lags and the team finishes bottom 5 again, the Cardinals might finally decide that the vision Gannon sold them heading into year 1 isn't the one that they're interested in paying for anymore. And you know what? We don't blame them. And I don't think Cardinals fans will be too sad to see him go. Raheem Morris, Atlanta Falcons. While there still are a lot of promising pieces in Atlanta, it's a bit of a double-edged sword for Raheem Morris. Credit to him for dodging the pink slip last year despite an 8-9 finish in a year where playoff expectations were sky high. He was able to use Kirk Cousins and his ailing Achilles as a human shield. But this year, it's going to be a different story. Preseason whispers around Michael Penix Jr. and beefed-up pass rushers offer optimism that they'll bounce back and make a run in the NFC South. But the margin for error is razor-thin for Morris, considering the state of the franchise at large. They're low on draft capital, and the last thing they want to do is spoil another prime developmental year for Penix Jr. If the Falcons struggle at the gate, don't be shocked to see Morris get the hook. But hey, which NFL coach do you think is the most on the hot seat heading into the 2025 season? Was there anyone that we may have missed? What do you think we got right here? What do you think we got wrong? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.